Okay, please turn to chapter 9. Okay, chapter 9, page 350. So we are going to review ISLM model, okay, and this will be in the test, okay. Even though, in the midterm we have some questions on ISLM, and remember that we have a whole session, okay, we have a whole session discussing some problem sets on ISLM, right? So we have done, from, let me show you again. You got to check your note, okay? It is in your note. Okay, so first of all, you're gonna solve for IS curve, right? You need to solve for IS curve. How to get it? Keynesian model. Y is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. And generally, just like when we done with Keynesian model, generally this part is, omitted. We don't pay too much attention on it. But you need to have Y is equal to C plus I plus G, okay? And then you're gonna get consumption function and investment. When we done, Keynesian model, it is just a number, but now because it is ISLM, we are going to find out the relationship between interest rate and R. So now it is a function of R, okay? And G is the same thing. It is a number, okay? And how to get LM curve? You have money demand and is equal to money supply. And at this point, I emphasize that you have to make sure that this is real money demand and also this is real money supply, okay? So if you still remember, we have done several questions, on the entrance tests of some famous universities, okay? Okay, so the moments of IS curve and LM curve. Okay, so Liu Jiajie, what kind of factors will move IS curve to the right? What kind of factors? What kind of policy will move IS curve to the right? No, money demand is on this side. So this is monetary policy, right? This is fiscal policy, okay? So for example, Li Boyan told us this morning, right? Thai NT appreciate quite a lot. I guess it's more than $1.50, okay? But because it is not over yet, because now it is like 3 o'clock. There are, 2 more hours to go. So no one knows for sure how it's going to end. So if NT goes up, what will happen? These two. Let us look at this first, right? If NT goes up. Go right. Okay. This curve is based on this. C plus I plus G plus X minus M, right? So anything will increase C, increase I, increase G, increase X, or decrease M will move it to the right. Okay, so we basically, if it is stimulus policy, expansionary policy, it will move to the right. If it is contractionary, means smaller, right? C goes down, I goes down, G goes down, it will move to the left. That is the same thing. If it is expansionary policy of monetary, you get more money, okay, interest rate goes down, all these things, then LM will move to the right. If it is contractionary, money supply goes down, okay, interest rate goes up, inflation goes up, right? It will move to the left. Okay, so now NT goes up. What happened to export? What happened to export? If NT goes up, export will go up or down? Down. Okay? And because NT goes up, foreign goods become cheaper. So this one will go up, right? So actually, if NT appreciates, okay, means it goes up in value, what happened? This one will go down, right? So that's the reason TSMC is going down, right? Okay, and stock market is going down because Taiwan is export oriented. Okay, most of our products, our productions is for overseas consumption. And that's the reason Friday, right? And today, Monday, okay, you got stock market going down quite dramatically, okay? So, what about this one? If money supply goes up, okay, it will shift to the right. Sorry, goes up, okay? Then it's but what about price level goes up? Price level goes up. What happened? Chen Youxi, if price level goes up, what happened? No idea. Try to think about it. One patent. If price level goes up, what happened here? Okay, shift to the left. And the reason is because price level goes up, okay? Price level goes up. Real balance going down, right? Real balance going down. So because of that, LM shift to the left. So if ICE curve shift to the left, income goes down, interest rate goes down. And if price level goes up, LM curve shift to the left, what you have? You have income goes down, interest rate goes up. Okay? So this is just a brief review of ICE and LM. And you need to look at the calculations, okay, all the problem sets that we have done in class, okay? It will be there for your final. So you really have to study them. And remember that I believe we have done, 2 hours over all those problem sets. So you want to make sure you get it. Okay, let's move on. So page 351, okay, it talks about FE line. So what is FE line? FE line is for employment line. Okay, for employment line. So let's look at page 352. And this is the idea of classical model. Okay, the idea of classical model. It means that, there will be equilibrium, and supposedly, if market works well, the economy will be at full employment line. Okay? And look at summary 11. Okay, page 352, summary 11. So this curve may shift to the right. Okay, it said beneficial supply shock. Okay, beneficial supply shock means there's positive supply shock. For example, you get better technology, right? Okay, so I think if you have heard of it, many companies are developing batteries that can be recharged in a short time. Okay, and that would be a positive shock. Okay, and also increase in labor supply. So if you look at this, you would believe United States will be in trouble, right? Why? Because a lot of immigrants were kicked out of the United States. So there will be shortage in labor supply, okay? But if you look at the number last week, okay, the employment actually is going up for the United States. But I suppose now it is April, right? Sorry, that's May. If you get to May, June, the number will be different, okay? It will show you, actually the U.S. economy going to be in trouble, okay? And he also said increase in capital stock, okay? The economy, the F4 employment line will shift to the right, okay? And that is what we have done with Soros model, right? Soros model, we say if you have increase in capital, increase in saving, that will increase the economy, and the full employment line will shift to the right. Okay, if you look at page 353, the IS curve, okay? So what is the IS curve? IS curve means investment is equal to saving. Okay, so IS curve shows you when the goods market is in equilibrium, what is the relationship between interest rate and the national income. Okay, so that's page 354. Okay, page 354. Even though the textbook uses a different approach to derive IS curve, but generally the idea is the same. Okay, so you look at page 354. Okay, and then what factors will shift IS curve to the right or to the left? You look at page 355. Okay, page 355. So first of all, if it is expected future output, suppose you're going to have some strong demand, so then the IS curve will shift to the right. Wealth, okay, if people become more wealthy, if the stock market is good, right? So basically, if you look at the US now, it is totally different issue because people worry about the effect, okay, the impact of tariff, okay, and if people, so generally, if you look at the numbers, it sounds like the US is in a good shape, but honestly, it's not quite the case. Why? Because people worry about the impact of tariff. So if you look at the market right now, a lot of people are rushing in to buy something, okay, cars, okay, consumable goods, clothing, shoes, okay. So if you look at the market, it seems like it's good, but actually it is not, okay, because people buy now to avoid the impact of tariff, okay. So that is something that I would like to tell you, okay. So even though recently, if you look at some statistics, the U.S. economy sounds good, right? But actually, that is not really the case. Okay, tax. If you get tax goes up, okay? If tax goes up, IS curve shift to the left, okay? If tax goes up, IS curve shift to the left. Okay, then the last one about MPK, okay, it is the marginal productivity of capital. If it is going up, IS curve is going right, okay, shift to the right, okay. Okay, so basically that's a basic review of IS curve. And now look at LM, right? That's on page 357, LM. So LM shows the relationship between interest rate and interest rate and income when the money market is in equilibrium, okay? So basically, if you look at page 359, that is the same thing as we have done in class to derive LM curve. Okay, and so if you look at this, what are the factors that are affecting LM curve? the idea is quite simple, okay? Just like IS. Expansionary policy, the curve shift to the right. Contractionary policy, the curve shift to the left. So if you check page 361, then you're going to get a whole lot of summaries there, okay? Summary 13. So increase in money supply, LM curve shift to the right, okay? And price level goes up, as we have just shown, right? If price level goes up, it means real money balance is going down. So LM curve shift to the left, okay? And if you expect inflation, right, just like right now, actually American people are expecting inflation, so the market is really in a tight position. So expect inflation, LM curve will shift to the left. But here, okay, as I say, this textbook tells the difference between real interest rate and nominal interest rate. That's not something that I really, would like to get into because it's just too confusing. Okay, so basically, you have money supply, price level, and expected inflation, all these factors. Okay, and if you look at that page 362, okay, so if LM curve shift to the right, okay, interest rate goes down, income goes up. But if IS curve shift to the right, interest rate goes up and income goes up, okay? Okay, let us check page 365, okay? So now we are trying to figure out what's going on here. So you have Keynesian model, and then you also have so the question is, if there is something wrong with the economy, do you really have to do something with it? It depends on who you are, right? If you believe classical school or you believe Keynesian school. And let us do one example here. And we can use the example, the events we are currently experiencing to show you, what to do. Okay. Oops. So here's Y, here's R, and this one FE is full employment line, okay? And let us say this is IS, and this is LM. Okay? Okay, so far so good. So let us say the economy is at equilibrium now and full employment. But what happened? US imposes tariff on many countries, including Taiwan, right? So if it imposes tariffs on Taiwan's products, which curve will be affected? So we have tariff, right? US imposed tariff on every country, including Taiwan. So in this case, which line is affected? So now we have tariff, right? Which line is affected? IS or LM? No idea. Wang Yufeng? IS. Okay? So why? Because if you have tariff goes up, right? Export goes down, right? And so IS curve shifts to the left. Okay, so this is what we have. And now what happened? We have something extra, right? NT dollar appreciates. Okay? So supposedly this is gonna further shift ICE curve to the left. And let it be just like here. Okay? Okay, so 郑彩进, if you are the government, right? If you are 周龙泰, okay? So what do you need to do? So what would you need to do? Xu Shaoxian, what would you need to do? This is the situation facing you, right? You are the head. Sometimes we may call prime minister, but in Taiwan it's called executive yuan, right? The head of executive yuan. So what would you need to do? Have you read newspaper? You know, actually, he had convened all the cabinet members, and then they discussed what they would need to do. No idea. Okay. Huang Weixin. What have been proposed? No idea. Zhang Tianjin. What have been proposed? Have you read newspaper? The government actually has want to do something, and they have sent a proposal to legislature yuan for the lawmakers, to pass the budget. No idea. Zhu Guangyan, want to say something? Chen Yuxiang, 来李博院。What's Churong Tai, what's his proposal? What does he want to do? No idea. Yang Junxiang, 林盛凯
No idea.
龚思源 No. 峰姐 See how much you care about Taiwan.
State organization.
Yep. So basically, what's the idea? Buy US dollars. If you look at central bank, that's one way to do, right? And actually, I believe the central bank has done something today. Trying to, okay. Feng Jie said, buy US dollar, okay? So if the central bank buy US dollars, what happened? US dollar should go up, and then NT dollar should go down, right? But is it successful today? The answer is no. Because today NT is still going way up, okay? So that's monetary policy. What I want is fiscal policy. So, Pan Ziyuan. So what else? Zhou Rongtai, what did he say? What's his proposal? That's for central bank. But what about the executive branch? To the best of my knowledge, the proposal is $8.8 billion. $8.8 billion. And that is in Mandarin. Okay, this is the number. Okay, 88 billion. Okay, that is in Mandarin 881 亿. Okay, so because the tariff will affect production, right? because now goods will be very expensive to the American people. And so Taiwanese producers will not be competitive enough, because now, so for example, if your product is $100, right? And now you have to pay 10%. So now your product becomes $110. So it becomes more expensive to American people. And so what would you need to do? You have to subsidize, okay, the producers, okay, to make them competitive, okay, in a lot of ways, okay? And so basically what I want to do is to push this IS curve back to where it is, okay? But the point is, Donald Trump, he is not a stable person, you know, because he changes opinions so often, okay? And so no one really knows for sure what will happen, but that is the basic idea, okay? That is the basic idea. I strongly believe, you know, someone put down in the newspaper, say, you know, NT, okay, gonna be 13.3 to US dollar, okay? And I would say this is really nonsense, okay? At my time, okay, when NT is equal to 27, okay, to 1, you know, at this point, probably 50% of Taiwan's small business will be gone. They won't be able to survive. And so where are they going to go? At that time, they went to China, okay? Even just at this number, I believe TSMC will have difficulty too, okay? And so when it gets to 25 equals 1, okay, that is 1993. That is the time I went to US for study. For me, you know, this is good news, right? Because I save a lot of money, okay? Because what I would need, I need US dollar. And when NT goes up, US dollar goes down, that means benefit for me, because I need US dollar. But Taiwanese need US dollar? No, they sell goods to get NT. And this is not enough to cover their costs. So there's one road we call 纵贯线, right? That's the highway, okay? Cuts directly from the north of Taiwan to southern Taiwan. Along this highway, we call Highway 1, okay? Along this highway, there's a lot of factories. But in 1993, all these factories are all gone, okay? And I believe this is absolutely a rumor, okay? Someone trying to create chaos in Taiwan, okay? Chaos. Chaos. Okay, Li Boyan, what is chaos? Excuse me? Right. Okay, that's nonsense. If it is just at 25 to 1, okay, TSMC will be in trouble. And if this number is really true, what's going to happen? All of Taiwan will be gone. You know, it's just nonsense. Okay, this is policy adjustment, okay? But actually, if the economy can, you know, adjust it step by step, okay? Because if there's a tariff, okay, production of course is going to go down, right? But in terms of the monetary policy, okay, the central bank can increase money supply, right? When the economy is not good, the central bank can increase money supply and shifts the monetary policy, okay, shifts LM curve to the right, push down, okay, so MS goes up, and then push down interest rate, and then we're going to have increase in investment and increase in consumption. So that's the other way that, you know, it can end up. But, you know, whichever way you look at it, the adjustment needs time. Okay, the adjustment needs time. If you want to see the full impact of Donald Trump's tariff policy, we have to wait until July. Okay, because 90 days, right? He said 90 days. Okay, when 90 days are gone, we're gonna check, you know, whether it's gonna be there or not. But I believe the U.S. economy will get worse much earlier than Taiwan. Okay, so let us see what is going to happen then. But at least now, I think you can see protests in the United States almost every week. Okay, because people just don't like the way Donald Trump is dealing with it. Okay, so page 365, and then there's a turn. Okay. Okay, so page 366. This part of the textbook tells you a lot of different stories. For example, my story, okay, my case is tariffs on Taiwanese goods. And then the government will do something to push ICE curve back to the original position, or use monetary policy, okay, to get down interest rate and then increase consumption and investment. Okay, so it has several ways to develop. And page 366, it talks about a different case. Okay, so here, figure 9.8. Okay, figure 9.8. It shows that a reverse supply shock. A reverse supply shock. So let us say it's an earthquake or whatever, right? And then the full employment curve shift to the left, and then they see the price level going up. So LM curve shift to the left. So anyway, is a story there. Okay, so 368. Okay. Application. Okay, the application show the oil price shock of 2008. Okay. So Yang Junxiang, if there's an oil price shock, when, you know, for example, at this point, the oil price is probably like $55 a barrel, okay? But in 2008, it is $145 a barrel. Okay, so in this case, which curve is affected?
Not sure.
IS curve, okay? Because what? Oil price goes up, basically means aggregate supply is impacted, okay? Oil price goes up, it means it's just too expensive to produce. And so in this case, aggregate supply shift to the left. So basically means also because goods are just too expensive, right? Consumption will go down, investment will also go down, okay? So there are many cases here, okay? You need to read the textbook and see how it works using ISLM for analysis. Okay, let's look at page 371. Okay, you have again the case here. Okay, at figure 8 of 9.9, he said money supply increases by 10%. Okay, money supply increases by 10%, then LN curve will shift to the left. And on the right hand side, figure B, okay, you have price level increases by 10%. So if price level increased by 10%, then LM curve shift to the left. Okay. Okay. So basically, these are the applications of IS-LM curve. And on page 375, it talks about aggregate demand and aggregate supply. But for this part, I don't think we have enough time to cover it. So today we're going to stop here. And the next session, we're going to talk about the relationship between IS and LM, and also aggregate demand. And then we will check, I think it's page chapter 8. Hold on. Sorry, chapter 6. We're going to check chapter 6, that's on Soros model. Okay, chapter 6, long run economic growth. Okay, let's take a break. 那个